All right, moving on, yo. We got some more information. We're gonna stay on that side of the pond. We're staying on that side of the pond because World Rugby is getting ready for elections this year. All right. Now, the last time we had it, there was a big battle for the chairman of the board for World Rugby, Augustin Pichot and Bill Beaumont coming together to battle it out, the old school versus the new school. Man, where is the line going to go? Where are we taking our directions to? And ultimately, Bill Beaumont ended up winning of the chairman role again for a second consecutive term. And it left a bitter taste. Obviously, Augustin Pichot decided to never rerun and said, and basically was like, yo, World Rugby is going to screw the smaller tiers and it's going to put things into a spot. And there was a lot of controversy with that because there was like a lot of backroom deal making, and unions that were supposed to be on Pichot's side ended up switching at the last second, unbeknownst. Like it's a whole storyline. Honestly, it's a whole storyline. But this year, like I said, it is no longer Bill Beaumont. All right. This guy is head now. I think there's been a lot of criticism, and reasonably so, about the archaic look at how rugby is. And now, mind you, don't get me wrong, they've done a few things to listen to the fans and make rule changes and et cetera like that. But I think ultimately it's always been about protecting that tier one, that top grouping of rugby teams internationally and then club wise. And I think Bill Beaumont continued that same phase. We see this with the Nations Cup tournament that be coming up in a couple of years, where basically the tier twos cannot play the tier ones for a better part of a year or two. As they get acclimated in, something similar to WXV, which can hinder the development of a tier two team to play against upper level competition. In addition to that, we've seen obviously other we've seen a lot more segmenting of play, investments entered into it. Like there's a lot of initiatives that have gone down. But with this, like I said, it is interesting to try and figure out what is going to end up being the next chairman. And apparently it's not just chairman that is up for grabs, right? We actually have a slew of positions that are essentially up for grabs at this point. Let me go ahead and bring that up. All right. So let's bring you guys into the fold again, this because I want you to be able to see this as well. All right. So as it's known, there's the nominations that they're going to be taking place on the not nominations. The elections will be taking place in Dublin on November 14th. Right now, nominations are still can be received. They were opened up September 23rd and they close October 15th. For anybody who is interested in being a part of the World Rugby Administration, but you can't just enter into it any what way, right? So these are the rules that are set to be able to allow you to be a candidate for positioning. All right. So to be a candidate, to be allowed, you have to be recommended by your union. All right. I want to be able. Where is it? I just had this here. All right. So to be nominated, all candidates must be members of the World Rugby Council and be nominated by their member union or regional association and seconded by a separate union or regional association. The chair will become independent upon election and will be appointed to the events board. All right, whatever that is. All right. And so these are the positions that are currently, I guess, up for grab. So the positions that are up for grabs, it looks like, are the World Rugby Chair, which is elected by the council, the World Rugby Chief of Executive, which currently is Brett. What's his name? Brett. Alan Gilpin. I don't know where I got. Oh, I had Brett Toms from before. You have Independent Events Company Chair, which are appointments approved by the executive board following an independent recruiting process. You have 2 Northern Hemisphere high performance union members elected by the council from the representative to the council of the unions of England, France, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Scotland, and Wales. 2 Southern Hemisphere high performance union members elected by the council from representatives to council of the union of Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. 1 non-high performance union member elected by council from the representative to council of the unions of Canada, Fiji, Georgia, Romania, Samoa, Uruguay, and USA. And 1 regional association member elected by council from the representative to council of the regional associations of Asia Rugby, Oceania Rugby, Rugby Afrique, Rugby Americas North, Rugby Europe, and South America Rugby. And then 3 independent members approved by the council, 2 females, including Angelina Ruggiero, whose current mandate runs through 2027. So literally only 2 people are going to be able to be independent members because she's still there. And then 2 athlete representatives nominated by the International Rugby Players, IRP appointments approved by the council, 1 male, 1 female. For all the players? All the players is just 2? Like, how? What? Yo, wilding. All right. So the council will select 6 representatives, 2 Northern Hemisphere high performance union members, 2 Southern, basically everything we just said, and nominated. So these are up for grabs. Apparently, these are all that are up for grabs. In line with the reform that happened in 2022. So, and in the election. So yeah. So apparently, like, there's still names that were being brought, and you know what? Honestly, there's people who have been rejected. So there was equally a story that also is what brought this to my attention that was on Rugby Pass that basically was like, all right, who's going to be filling in as a successor for Bill Beaumont, right? And they had this one guy who currently is interested in trying to go into it. I don't know much about him, but it looks like there's his name. It's this Australian guy who I think is supposed to be looking to it. What's his name? I hate whenever I want to be able to tell the story and I can't find the name. I feel like his name was John something. Australian guy. I mean, looks like he's just another old school rugby player, rugby guy. Been in it. Apparently, he had corporate success and came back in. But the part that made me laugh the most was whenever they talked about there's this guy John Jeffrey who was supposed to be a favorite to be able to succeed Beaumont, ended his bid after failing to receive backing by his own union. Like, that's an ultimate insult right there. Like, your own team your own people don't even want you to be in that position of power for whatever reason. That's wild. That's wild. So it's still anybody's game. I don't know who is currently in the runnings for who've already not been nominated in. I guess we'll find out in October 15th, and we'll talk about it a little bit more maybe for next week. But in the meantime, we at least know that there is at least somebody, hopefully, that can bring some changes. I don't know how much they're gonna actually do in terms of like tier 2, tier 3 development or even responsible money distribution or responsible business modeling, because it looks like there'll probably be a lot of guys that are already been, obviously, if they're already under World Rugby Council, they've already made at least some impact in the last 3-4 years. And so their mindset might not be completely different than what's already happening, if not satisfied, just to fulfill the plans that are already set to move forward. I don't know. I think the last one, 2020, was a little bit more exciting because of the fact that there was a clear new school thinking, especially seeing how Argentina is going now. I really feel like Augustin Pichot would have been a really interesting chairman of the board to go with, and provided some legitimate ideas. This year, I have no idea. It feels like it'll probably be a handover. The fact that, you know, the unions that need the most help only have one or a partial vote, representative vote, is, you know, speaks volumes. And, you know, I guess we'll see how it all goes. You know, I wonder if it'll be as exciting as the last one. But let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know where your mind is with it. And what do you guys feel is it? If you know more information, even about who's up for vote, man, please let me know. Throw it up in the comments, man. I absolutely love the conversation.
Buckwheat is changing lives. My name is GiftTime. I'm here with Health Enhanced Foods, and I want to tell you about one of my favorite products on our shelves, buckwheat baking mix. Buckwheat is a seed that is incredibly nutrient and protein dense. But what makes it even more important, that buckwheat baking mix is absolutely gluten-free. A lot of times whenever people have buckwheat mixes, they actually even hold wheat inside of it. So you know it's not fully gluten. And if you're a person that is celiac or diabetic, or you're just really trying to be health conscious, it's not something that you want to have to worry about. What makes our buckwheat baking mix even more important is that it is versatile. You can use it for pancakes, you can use it for waffles, you can use it for making loaves of bread, you can make it for cupcakes. But what helps even more is that it is allergen free, it is nut free, it is dairy free, that there is no additional additives in it. There's no leavening there, so that if you want to be able to raise your bread, you can put in the baking powder yourself and get it fluffy. If you don't, you absolutely do not have to. You get the bread that you love without the cost to your health. You can absolutely find buckwheat baking mix at healthenhancedfoods.com. Absolutely check it out. Get your nostalgia back. Get back to eating and loving the way that you are, and absolutely get back to the energy that you know that you can get without having to destroy yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing you get it. Let's go.